Hello everyone, how you doing? It's another Sunday evening, and guess what? It's time for us to connect. So wherever you are in the world, wherever you are on the World Wide Web, it's great to have you here at this very hour. It's the Connect, and yes, we're still on the performance series. I promise you that this is going to be one episode that delivers utmost value. Utmost value. So we had an amazing time last week. The Independence edition where we spoke about Nigeria. It was great to have Sandy Akanian in the studio with me, and we talked about Nigeria with regards to performance. Today we're taking a shift away from a national perspective, and we're going to be looking at business. We're going to be looking at organizational development, and to some certain degree, we're going to be looking at personal development. It's amazing, amazing. So wherever you are, please do indicate how you sent me a message, whether you're on Facebook or you're on LinkedIn. Do send me a message. Let me know where you're joining us from, so that I can have an idea of the reach. Now, we also welcome all those who will be joining us in the course of the rebroadcast or catching this video in the course of the week or any other time later. You're also most warmly welcome. It's the Connect, and here we go. All right, guys. The performance series is where, and we're looking forward to an amazing time. I have a super guest. You know how it is. You know how I say this. You have guests, and then you have super guests. Everybody's great, but there are just some people that require. I mean, you look at what they've been able to do over time. You look at the vastness of their resume or their profile, and the different expressions by which they've been able to apply yourself, and you say to yourself that this has to be an alpha being. This has to be an alpha human being, and I have one of such people, somebody that have I've come to know over a short period, but sincerely very dear to my heart in many regards, and you will get to understand why shortly. And she's joining us. I think this is her first time to the Connect, and it's so amazing. It's so amazing. I remember when I extended the invitation to her, and she was like, "Give me a date." I'm like, "Huh?" Like, I know what it is to have a busy schedule. So when someone says, "Give me a date," I first think you're joking, or I think you don't understand what is required of you. But she said to me from a place of sincerity, "Just give me a date. Let's do this. This is something that I'm excited, to want to be a part of." And I'm going to be bringing her into the studio, shortly. So, guys, get ready. Let me see your comments. Let me see you out there. I'm trying to set up a profile. People that have profiles that require, I possibly couldn't even say, let me go through our entire profile, because if we did that, then half the time that we have to spend today will be appropriated to going through a profile. But nonetheless, I'm going to be bringing it into the studio pretty soon, and then we will get this on the way. We will get this on the way. All right, guys. So, um, without further ado, I can see that she's ready in the waiting room. I'm going to be bringing her up now, and we'll get this conversation on the way. Ladies and gentlemen, make warmly welcome for the first time to the Connect, Eunice. Show me, Adeyemi.
I'm so happy to be here.
Man, no, I think I'm more happy to be here. I mean, if we're gonna do competition of who is happier to be here, Eunice, I think it's great to have you here. It's great to have you here. How you doing?
I'm well, and how are you?
Awesome, awesome, awesome. It's
Good.
Sunday, it's exciting. Everybody knows that every Sunday I'm usually totally excited because I know that I'm wrapping up my day. On this side of the world, I'm wrapping up my day with the Connect. And in
Nice.
other words, not
Nice.
just wrapping up the day, I'm starting the week, with the Connect. So I'm always so excited to be here. And when I
Nice.
have people that I want to share thoughts with, and people that I want to also hear their stories and perspective of things, it makes it more worthwhile. Great evening to share. And I'm looking forward
Nice.
to the time that we're going to share today, Eunice. Looking forward
Same
to
here.
this big time. Looking forward to this. So Eunice, I'm going to try to do your, um, Your profile, man, this is no joke. Like this is no joke. So guys, I need you to. I need you, why she's laughing because she knows what I mean. She knows all I have to go through to be able to deal with her profile. So guys, guess what? I'm going to be okay. So this is hello Eunice and Aneka. Thank you, Umfon. Okay, Umfon. Hi, how are you? How you doing? All right. Okay. So I'm gonna be going through her profile shortly. So guys, just listen. Eunice Shomi Adeyemi has over 25 years of experience working in multiple vertical markets. Over the course of her career, Eunice has led the successful execution of several projects and initiatives. So, little wonder we're talking about performance today because there's absolutely no way that you can lead such projects that you will not have some authoritative thoughts as regards performance. All right, several projects and initiatives with experience in working with people of diverse backgrounds and cultures in both multinational and national companies. She's devoted her considerable competence, and we'll be talking a bit about those considerable competence shortly. She's devoted her considerable competencies to building one of the leading corporate focused experiential marketing support organizations. Somebody said to me that that was a mouthful.
Mouthful.
We will talk about that in a bit, Eunice. All right, in Nigeria, and it's called Q21. I like it. It sounds kind of like M16, kind of like CIA Q21. I like the way that sounds. All right, so Q21 has successfully executed several major events in Nigeria, such as the African movie, the AMVCA, African Magic Viewers Choice Awards. Yes, for the past 7 years, guys, for the past 7 years. Talk about some measure of sustainability and consistency. The Jamesons Connect Lagos and Abuja, the Tony Elumelu Foundation Entrepreneurship Program TIP from 2015 on to 2017, the All Africa Business Leaders Awards, West Africa, and many more. Q21 adds an extensive client list which range from Coca-Cola, Google, Oracle, ASP, Cisco, HP, amongst many, many others. All right. So her guiding belief system, which seeks to nurture, guys, and I need you to pay attention to this, which seems to nurture the best in humanity,
Yeah.
which brought her to Nigeria in 2006. That's quite some time ago, and and was manifest in the excellent execution legacy of Q21 Solutions has given birth to several initiatives such as the Africa as a Platform, an event to help tech startups find funding, and Ladies of Laughter, and an all-female comedy show lineup. Interested. Prior to joining, now this is what some people, you know how you say someone has many parts. So you meet someone at a point in their life and you know them as Q21, and then you meet someone at a part in their life and then they are representing another organization. Now you guys wait for this. Prior to joining the world of experiential management, Eunice was the managing director for the United Bank for Africa Services, a subsidiary of the UBA. In this role, her company managed over 12,000. Okay, Eunice. 12,000 junior staffers and created what the banking industry has come to know and respect as the junior cadre career path. Interested. Eunice has had the extreme pleasure of also working for the Yellow family, MTN Nigeria, where she was the senior manager of postpaid. All right, so all your with postpaid accounts, there she is. Okay, so she successfully created the yellow experience that all customers on the postpaid line enjoy even up until today, and I can attest to that. Eunice has been the senior director of implementation for one of the largest financial institutions in Toronto, Ontario, CIBC, Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce. In the role, she was able to successfully bring to the bank the key application for customer experience and successfully manage an over 10,000. Eunice does things in the thousands. I mean, we're just talking about the 12,000 flow. Now we're talking about the 10,000 flow. All right. And then to manage an over 10,000 man call center across the entire country. A successful execution of the role was a key contributing factor to CIBC's 6 year continuous receipt of the Customer Service Award while she was in her role. All right. She has used her love and passion for customers and the execution come provision of any service to constantly excel in whatever organization she has been an employee within. Eunice has been married for over 22 years to Larry and has two lovely children, AJ and KG. I've heard her talk about AJ, a number of times. So KG, don't worry, we'll talk about you a bit more too. All right. When you meet her, as you can attest, the first thing you notice is her red hair, and then a smile follows right behind, and of course the loudness of her heart then comes in. All right, so here we are, Eunice. It's great to have you here. It's great to have you join us. What an amazing profile. What an amazing, track that you've built over the years. So let's start with this. This is the
Okay.
performance series, and the first question I usually will ask any of my guests is, what does performance mean to you?
So for performance means to me, I would say, that's a very interesting question. So if I had to define performance, um, see, why did you ask me like a tough question? Like right off the bat, asking me a tough question. No, no,
Don't worry.
but
Once you take that on, you can deal with any other
I could do
thing. So
anything,
go on.
right? So if I think performance, I would think excellence, right?
Hmm.
Um, And I think because any which way I would slice performance in whichever category, whichever bucket you would put it in, I would look for excellence in it. And that's how I would define performance if I had to define it without it being in a specific line or a specific area being questioned. I would say
Yeah.
excellence. I would use the word excellence to define it.
Amazing. So we're going to drill in a bit further because I'm curious
Mhm.
to unpack all of that. So now, as we're reading the profile, your profile, one of the things that jumped out at me, or a couple of things that jumped at me, was the fact that look, you have projects that you've sustained over a number of years. It's been 6 years, it's been 7 years consistently, and obviously, I mean, it's okay to do something once and get it done once. It takes a lot for you to be able to replicate what you've done consistently over the years with all the changing dynamics in the business world and all of that. So now, what would you say have been the indicators that you have given attention to? I know that you said your general understanding of performance is stemmed and tied to excellence. But then again, drilling and unpacking excellence, because I'm the unpacking guy, yeah. Drilling and unpacking excellence. For the different initiatives that you've been on, what are the things that you've given particular attention to that resulted in you being able to deliver consistently over a sustained period of time, Eunice?
So I would say, first of all, customer service. So, and that has allowed us to deliver this consistently over the period of time, right? If I use Q21 as an example, it's been 11 years of being in the industry. And we've
Hmm.
had to make sure that in our performance, our customers are key to our overall delivery. Because if they're not happy, then we can't deliver. And that's the truth. I mean, it doesn't matter what we bring to the table. The second
Hmm.
one would be detail oriented. So it's not just enough that you say this is what you want to do, but it's us digging deeper. So how you say you like to unpack, we like to dig deeper. So we would ask a question that comes almost left field. Sometimes clients are like, "Why are you asking us that?" But we want to know, what is it? What's the objective behind having an event? What is it that you want to discuss? What's the purpose of this event, right? Why did you call on us? What are you looking to achieve with your brand? So we're asking questions that are detailed, so we're digging really deep underneath the surface. It's not about staying on the surface. Where do you want to be in another 5 years? That helps us
Hmm.
to create an event for you now that would then outlive us if we're no longer there. But because we do such an
Hmm.
excellent job even the first time around, you want to call us to come back because you've just
Hmm.
managed to see that we were able to think through what you couldn't think through or what you weren't even thinking of, we were able to bring to life. So for us, when
Hmm.
we talk about performance, we're talking about being very detail oriented, going underneath the skin almost, and then also going down the path of making sure that our customers are happy. So that whole customer service, building a relationship, having a rapport is helps us to deliver and helps us to be able to perform effectively.
Right, right, right. Let me just ask a question, right? Because there's a bit more to do there, but let me just ask a question. Now, I thought of something whilst you were speaking. Has there been any time, and you don't have to necessarily call out client names and stuff, but has there been any time where a client gives you a brief? Because I get this conversation with a lot of clients at times, where a client gives you a brief, but you say to them that no, this cannot deliver what you want. Because obviously, I think that the main objective of you digging deep is that you want to know beyond the brief that the client has given you exactly what they want to achieve. So have you had scenarios where you say to them that no, what you want me to do will not deliver what you want. What you want is one thing. What you're trying to get me to do is another thing. But hold up, slow down, hold the horses. What you want me to do cannot deliver what you want. Have you had those kind of situations, and how have you dealt with those kind of situations? Let's take it from there.
Um, So yes, we have, and several times. You have to remember that we are not a typical event management company. So we're event
Right.
consultants. And because of that, when you come to us, most times we get a brief and say, we want to have like an end of year event.
Hmm.
And I say to you, we ask you, and you give us a brief, and what you give us is one that contains food, drinks, and entertainment. And we're like, okay, great, not a problem. That's what you want to do. But what's the objective of the event? And then us saying to them, you know what, we get that you want to have this type of an event, and we can put that together for you. However, here's what we would then suggest in terms of how you could actually make it a more effective use of your finances, an effective use of engagement, an effective use of stakeholder management as well. So we'll provide you with X, Y, and Z. And we think that this would help you to enhance your overall event. And you'll find that what we found is customers absolutely love it because you've given us one thing and we've taken what you've given us and we've just dissected it and said, you know what? It's great. We can do this for you. That's not a problem because and in all sincerity, we could do an event like that for you. But here's what we think would be much better for your brand. And here's where we think that you guys could actually get more mileage for your naira as well. And you find that customers' faces light up when you hear conversations like that. And it's been great. I mean, it's been good. It's been challenging though sometimes because some customers don't understand it. They're of the opinion that this is what I want, and so go and
Hmm.
do it. And we've had to turn clients down, that aren't willing to go beyond that essence of what they're thinking, because we are the experts. This is what we do for a living. When we do it 9 to 5 every day. I mean,
Hmm.
we live and breathe events. So if you're coming to us, we would like you to know that we're the experts, and we don't want to shove it down your
Right.
throat. We, however, would like you to respect that, we've done this several times and our client list is quite extensive. Referrals are quite extensive. So believe you me, if we're giving you a suggestion, 9 times out of 10, it's for your benefit.
It's for your benefit. I mean, I like the way that you put it. You don't want to shove it down their throats, but at the same time, for the integrity of what you're here to deliver. And this is the way I always say to people: you've got to be able to determine exactly what you're doing. Are you providing a product which is purchasable anywhere? Now, if you're functioning at the level of providing a product, it means that I don't have any responsibility or obligation to be loyal to that product. It's a product. I can buy anything anywhere. I can take it. I can use it. Are you providing a service that goes
Correct.
comes to come serve with product, or are you providing an experience,
Correct.
which is really not what separates every kind of service provider. And when you're providing an experience, Eunice,
Hmm.
you've got to pay attention. You've got to protect the integrity of that experience, because an
Correct.
experience is what people go to share. People don't talk about a product, they talk
They
about
don't.
their experience with the product. Which is why
Correct.
many times when I'm speaking on this or teaching on this, I talk about the concept of benefits versus features. Features are great, but if you can't communicate and connect the features to the benefits, you're not going to be able to get people to understand the value and the import of what exactly it is you're delivering. So,
Hmm.
so I just needed to throw that in because that just resonates with what you said. Now, on one side, all right, on one side, you've spoken to the engagement and the interaction with the client. But then again, you and I understand that, like an iceberg, you have just about, say, 15 to 18% of that ice mass above water, and then you have a
Yeah.
significant percentage beyond water. Now, the significant
Mhm.
percentage is everything that happens within behind the scene, and that has to do with the vision of the organization. It has to do with the staffing and the staff management and staff performance, and how to be able to manage those performances or to enable those performances. Now, you are, Eunice, the Wonder Woman. The one, I mean, 12,000 staffers, 10,000 staffers, that's a whole
Yeah.
country. Like someone said, you should run for president, really, Eunice. How has it been? All right. How has it been managing such staff strength and still getting everybody, or mostly everybody, to be able to deliver at a certain expected level? Eunice.
So what I found that always works, even with dealing with customers and Q21 solutions, and then also having my history of dealing with staff, is I found that getting people to work with me, not for me, has what's always worked. So they understand the vision of what it is that we're trying to achieve. It's not easy having a staff strength of 12,000 that you need to just manage and figure out, first of all, what are their needs, create their compensation structure, create a structure for them, because there was one that it was non-existent. So create a structure that they themselves would buy into. It requires you telling a story that everybody could understand. And I had to find the right story, which is almost like why doing events is so simple. I had to find the right story. It's a product that I want to sell, but I need them to understand and imbibe the experience first. So, what is the experience? I'm creating a career path for you that you would truly be able to benefit from and love. And how did I get to that point? I had to listen to them. So I had to go out onto the field and literally listen to people talk about their experiences of working within the organizations, and trying to figure out, okay, so what is the best approach to creating a structure for them. Of course, it's as good as it could get. I mean, it could always get better, and I mean, they did fine tune it after I left, and I know that. But it was one where we had to start somewhere, and where we started was a fantastic place because we were able to create a structure that everybody could kind of buy into. And it started from the bottom, from drivers to cleaners who now finally had a career path. But it was them first believing in the dream that I would say I had, that the organization had, that you know what, we want to create a career path for you where you can see where your career can grow to. You're not just a cleaner, you're not just a driver, you are appreciated. We value you. And I think when people understood that we valued them, they could hear us when we were now saying this was the structure. But to say how I got it done, it was getting the people to work with me, not as they weren't staff, right? They were part of the vision. So they understood the vision. They were working alongside me. They weren't under me. They were all colleagues, and it was beautiful to see it come to life. So they were happy because they had their input. So everybody got heard. And that was the way we were able to achieve it. I've never done anything alone. Even working within Q21 Solutions, underneath the iceberg are tremendous people, from vendors to production managers, right? To carpenters, who are people that you have to deal with on a regular basis. So it's not about being the managing partner, right? It's about being a part of the team.
Absolutely, I like that. I mean, one thing that I do like is the fact that you have to, people are not working for you; they're working with you. And
Yeah.
it's not that you have some supervisory or some superintendent role over them. You are part of a team. You, as much as you, the managing partner, are part of a team, they also are part of a team. And
Mhm.
so stakeholders engagement then becomes something that's critical. There's something that I was sharing with a couple of people once, and I said, look, for any business to grow, and any organization, and somebody out there needs to take notes of this. For any organization to grow, you've got to take stakeholders' satisfaction into consideration, because and who are stakeholders? A stakeholder is anybody that can affect or is affected by what you do. So that means that every cadre of your staffers are stakeholders.
Yeah.
And you know what, Eunice? We've I've also had some history in the banking sector, and funny enough, in the same bank as well as you were, and I know the pride that
Mhm.
the junior staffers have because of the kind of path and the kind of clarity, the envisioning that has been transmitted and communicated to them, so much so that when they resume and work in the morning, all right, they understand what their performance on that day does to the bottom line. And I
Yeah.
think that's key. I think that's absolutely necessary. Once people can understand how they fit into a system and
Hmm.
what their role is in that system, then the rational people will tend to commit their best to their system, because they know that the system in turn rewards them and, more importantly, serves them
Correct.
as well. And that's very key. So now we're looking at personnel. Let's still stay on the part of, the human first, because I mean, one of the most challenging things you can ever manage, if and for everybody out there that's managing all sorts of things, trust me, man, human personnel is one of the toughest
Yeah.
things that you can ever manage. Let's drill down on that. What were Okay, let's take Q21 for instance. What will the performance indicators be for your staffers? What do you expect? And in expecting, like we always said in the banking sector, then don't do what you expect. People do what you expect. In expecting a certain output from them, what are the things that you put in place to enable them be 7-star performance? Because they have to be 7-star performance. Let's face it.
Yeah, they need to be. Yeah, in order for us to have the client base we have, they need to be like 10-star performers. I don't think we can afford 7-star at this rate. Um, so there are a couple of things, right? And it starts from our interns, because we have interns that are with us, and we change interns every 3 months, or we have interns join every 3 months, and there are interns that have actually been with us and have stayed on, so they now became permanent staff. And I love the
Hmm.
interns that come in, because they come in with a fresh perspective, they come in with new ideas, and then they help us to grow and become better. So everybody has an opportunity to impart into the DNA of Q21 Solutions. But key
Hmm.
indicators for staff, for overall, I mean, overall, like, you've done a fantastic job, is our hall being ready 4 hours before our events. So if you call an event for 6 o'clock, right, that hall needs to be ready by 2 o'clock. And when I mean ready, I
Hmm.
mean fully ready. Not that we're now doing sound check at 2 o'clock. We are ready. We've done sound check at 11, everything's set up, because we believe that if a disaster happens at 2 o'clock, we would be able to turn it around in 4 hours. And last year was 3 hours. And then this year I decided to push my team to make it 4 hours. And when we first started this, it was like, how are we going to get a hall ready 3 hours, especially in Nigeria? And especially in Nigeria here, how are you going to get a hall ready in 3 hours before an event? But it required a checklist. So we have a checklist that everybody has to then go through, right? That
Hmm.
ensures that there are certain things that need to be done. And that overall communication and relationship with our vendors is also very key. So when I say people working with us, it is all of us. I mean, we have vendors that are family now. I mean, from our
Sure,
light
sure, sorry,
vendors.
sorry, Eunice. Sorry, Eunice.
Yeah.
Let me just jump in a bit before you go on.
Mhm.
You said something about getting the hall ready 4 hours before. I know how a lot of times in Nigeria, for instance, we like bandwagon effect. There's a venue, there's a facility that's top notch. Everybody wants to do something at that facility. So some days you have multiple events holding at that facility, events that really have nothing to do with each other, different planners, different event planners, and one is supposed to finish by a certain time. In that kind of situation, you find yourself not having 4 hours or some certain. I mean, what do you do in such a scenario? I am curious to know,
Mm.
Eunice.
So the truth about it is, it still goes back to relationships. So we will be in contact if we have the overlap of event planners, right? We don't see them as competition, right? We're all colleagues in the industry. We all have our unique strengths, and I respect all of them in the industry. We are different from them, and so we've come to realize that, yes, Q21 is different from you. We're not competing with you. We are different, but
Right.
we have a relationship, and so therefore, with that relationship, we can call anybody and simply say, you know what, we hear that you have an event before our event, and it closes and it ends the night before, or it ends a couple of hours before our event. So can we do a couple of things? And we've done this in the past, where I will give you my vendor to set up lights in your hall. Right? Because if my event has more lights than yours does, I will give you my vendor and say, you know what, let my vendor set up the day before. You can use my lights in your hall. So whatever
Wow.
amount the client has paid you, just pay me whatever the client has paid. So let's assume the client has paid you 5 naira. Not a problem. Give me the 5 naira. I will use that. I will use that 5 naira and give my vendor that as part of their support fee, and they will come and they will power your event for you. But that saves me time for my setup. So it goes down to
Mm,
planning effectively, right? And then having the relationships with people in the industry that says we are not competitors. We are on the same page. And so therefore,
mm,
you know what? Your event can be more successful with my lights. I need my lights. And we did this recently in Abuja for an event for a client. We literally had 9 hours to turn the hall around, and they had an event the night before, and we were like, you know what, guy, I really need this. So they had the hall 2 days prior to our event, and we just asked them, you know what, I will have my guys set up 2 days before my event because I need more time than you do. So let me
mm,
borrow your day and I will set up. And I set up before that time, and my guys came in and they did the production management for that event, even though they didn't have it in budget. So we actually added additional value. They didn't have screens. We had screens in our own event and our layout. We gave them the screens. We gave them the production manager at no cost, no additional cost, because I needed to have my hall ready for 4 hours before my event. So
true.
it's just a matter of planning, and it really is a matter of planning. And my guys also know that. That's why I said we can't afford to be sevens. We're tens. There's no there's no luxury in it, and you've got to
Mm,
build those relationships, right? So imagine having colleagues in the industry that we built those relationships with, but then also having vendors who understand what we're trying to achieve, right? So like I talked about when I was in the bank, they needed to understand the vision. My vendors now understand the vision. They understand quality. They understand excellence. So when you say you have a carpenter, you have, an artisan that really is just annoying. We don't have those because down to the artisan who's working on the project, he understands that, you know what, this is a great project to work on because we take care of everybody. We take care of you like your family because I know I
mm.
need you as much as my client needs me to deliver. I need you because I can't carry that hammer, not with my nails. I could if I wanted to,
You
but
could if you wanted to. You
if I
could if you
wanted to.
wanted
Yeah,
to.
but I don't want to, and I don't want to sweat out the red in my hair. So no, I'm gonna pay
Right.
you to do it right. But yeah, so in that case, it's about planning properly, right, and ensuring my guys understanding that in order for us to deliver that excellence and a part of our overall performance is for us to have planned properly. So it's being that detail oriented to know who's got the event before us and who's going to be there, which vendors are they using, are they even using our own vendors. Sometimes we have clients who are colleagues that are using our own vendors, so it works out really well. So we just have we have general meetings and say, okay, you know what, your event finishes, help me to rig up an extra couple of lights when you're setting up for these guys because our event is the next day. And sometimes we can use other vendors that we wouldn't have used before in the past. While I don't necessarily like it because we're very particular about the overall delivery, we've had to sometimes have to use vendors that we wouldn't necessarily have used because of the factor that we wouldn't have enough time to deliver. Our overall execution is
Mm,
what's important.
mm. The overall execution is what is important. You know what, Eunice? You just literally just blew my mind right now. I'll tell you something though. When we set this series last month, I took the first, I sat alone here and I took the first episode and I talked about three core areas of performance that I wanted us to discuss. And the first there were three C's really. The first was content, which is knowledge. You must know. You must know about your industry. You must know what you're doing. The second was, and then you must be competent. That's also content. You must have competence. Competence was embedded in content. And then the second C was you must be able to communicate. You must be confident, meaning that you must know enough to believe in what you do to be able to deliver. You must be confident in your ability. You must be confident in your relationships and be confident in your, in everything that has to do with what you're doing. And then thirdly, you must be able to communicate your competency and your confidence. You must be able to communicate it, because it's not just one thing. It's one thing for you to have all that together, have all those great people, and have that great team, and then not be able to communicate it to the markets so that people can readily tell. Because, for many people, it's okay for you to show this is what we've done. But even when you tell a client that this is what we've done, it still has not said 100% that this is what you can do, or this is what you'll be able to do. So you are making a promise based on a history. All right. So you must be able to communicate that. And you must communicate that by way of your branding and all of that. But I think you've just given me a fourth C, guys. And I think that's collaboration. And
Hmm.
collaboration is extremely key, to be able to connect the dots between your competence, the market, and your overall delivery, because that's really what's important. So, what does it take for you to be able to come into synergy, with somebody who is offering services, or who can help you leverage on a service that helps you deliver minimal time? Because imagine if you said, okay, you know what, I'm just going to wait for you to finish your event. Because that's what I was thinking. I was saying to myself, okay, how are you going to turn it around? You don't have 4 hours. Eunice, you
No.
don't have 4 hours. So how are you going to do this for hours? But what you did actually was just jump ahead of take competency, use collaboration to be able to buy time,
Yeah.
save time. Guess what happens? Even the person that has the event, all right, that the first vendor is handling, is going to look. Trust me, don't think that we people that are dealing are not also paying attention. We will look at it and we know that, man, we're supposed to have screens. Where did these screens come from?
Hmm.
We're gonna.
Hmm.
I mean, we'll be quiet. We may act like we don't notice, but we look at it and we say, "What happened? Where did this come from?" And that's good for you. That's good, because you know what? And this is what I tell people. The truth of the matter is that if you do good, if we're in an industry and you do good, what you have done is elevate
Yeah.
the narrative about that industry. If one
Yeah.
person does bad, what you've done is to deflate the narrative about that
That's right.
industry. And if we can collectively do good by working together, then why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Agree.
Why not? So that's important. So yeah, don't worry. The next time I speak on this, I'll share my speaking fee with you. Collaboration. All right, a quarter, a quarter. There you go.
Everybody heard that, right? And it's recorded. We're live. So there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, quarter of the
Okay,
royalties. Yes.
a quarter of it. All right. Okay. So now, still on performance. All right.
Okay.
We've looked at the people. We've looked at the market. You've looked at the clients. We've looked at the people. Now let's look at the key activities, because and I'm saying the key activities because you need people to be able to deliver key activities. But then again, what are the key activities? Say, for instance, how are you able to now determine the key activities that deliver specific outputs to you? Because truth of the matter is that you have everybody running together in an industry, but how you get things done, there's what you do and there's how you do what you do. But how you do what you do, first of all, determines, first of all, is on top of what you do. How do you determine what you do to be able to get the kind of outcome that stands you out and gives you and I like the way you put it, a 10-star performance rather than a 7-star. And I thought 7-star was amazing. I'm done
No.
saying 7-star. It's not 10-star.
There you go. So it's simple, but I think that it's hard for people, but it's so simple for me. It just boils down to people, man. People, how do I say this? Loving people. So I treat
Hmm,
them like I want to be treated, which is the
hmm,
utmost of respect and love. So down to, people will, in our industry, right? And I've heard the cater of staff you would pay, who are like the helpers to lift and carry things. You would pay
hmm,
them peanuts for a day. Whereas in truth, we pay them a good amount and we then feed them. Because if I
hmm,
were working, I would want somebody to feed me, right? If I were
hmm,
doing manual labor, and I see these guys doing manual labor, like they carry my pallets, they carry our couches, and they're there all day, right? Um,
hmm,
I'd want somebody to feed me. So we instilled, little little things of care to allow for that sense of being a part of the overall family. So I feel that for me, and it's just me. And I feel that it's worked because I know you by name. So you can imagine the managing partner knowing and calling you by name, or I get down there and I'm helping you to carry something. People are always shocked when I say that I'm a managing partner. I always say I've always said I'm the chief worker. That's really who I am. It's really just a title. But I
Mm.
feel that by doing that, people understand, and I found that they're no longer working, they're supporting, and therefore they tend to deliver better because they're supporting, not working. Because working is I'm getting paid for this, so therefore I'll just do what I need to get paid. So let me get paid.
Mm.
But when you're supporting, it's a totally different thing. So I support you, and I support you, and because I support you, it doesn't matter how many times you call me and say, you know what, Eunice, I need you to help me move this, or Eunice, you know what, I need you to come on a show, and my thing would be like, okay, so let me know when. It's not about it's like just tell me what time works. I'll work my schedule around, but it's in supporting. And once I'm supporting you, then it works. And I think if more and more people understand that when it comes to performance, you don't want people around you that feel like they're they're being dictated to, or they're
Yeah.
being told what to do. They want to feel like they're a part of it. And once you feel like you're a part of it, you take ownership. And once you take ownership, sky's the limit. So when I say 10, I mean my guys are 10. They are absolutely amazing. I always tell them all the time. They know I couldn't do this without them. They know that I would defend you in front of a customer, right? I'm behind closed doors is a different story. But
Yeah.
in front
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
front of our customers, they're always number one. I mean, they're always number one. And I think that the more we understand that, we put those things in place, the more we would get more output from people, the more you would get more than you actually, the more than you pay them. Yes, we do pay well. So as an organization, we do pay well. I know in the industry, yes, and we've gotten a lot of complaints that we're one of the higher paying from an event management perspective. That's
Right.
also goes to the factor that I care for my people. I think you should be
Right.
able to take care of yourself, but it's important that you need to have them around you in order for you to be able to deliver. So excellence is delivered just by having all those great people around who realize that, you know what, I treat you with the utmost respect because that's how I will treat you the way I want to be treated.
So, in other words, what you're saying is, if you want people to deliver value, value them.
Yeah. In a nutshell, there you go. Oh, and you can see you in the words. Yeah, that is it.
Value them, and it's amazing. I because I remember in the banking industry then. Again, there was a time where, and I'll call him by name, right? He's still my boss till tomorrow. You know how you have bosses for life.
For
So
life.
there was a for life, yeah. So there was a time that Tony Lumelu practically interviewed everybody.
Mhm.
Everybody. He interviewed me, interviewed everybody, sat down and interviewed everybody. And at that point, I used to think to myself, why would you do that? And then we found out something. No matter where it was, whether it was in Abuja, I was in Abuja, my Tama branch, and all of that. If he sees you, he remembers your name. And I'm
Yeah.
like, do you know what? He walks into the hall and he's like, Aneka, how are you? As if you say, if you like, tell me to go and jump over the 12-story building, I will get it
Yeah.
done. Why? Because you've shown me that I'm just more than a statistic. I'm just more than a brilliant brain. I am a person. I'm
Person.
just more than someone that's bringing in awesome revenue or has very high billables. I am a
A
person.
person.
And because he was able to communicate that, we had this bonding. We had come from the sweat, tears, and blood rank. You know what I mean? STB. So we came from the sweat, tears, and blood rank to the UBA. And, for us, it was almost something that we took. We owned it. We
Mhm.
owned it. And I learned something else. If you want to arrive at the best decision, again, I learned this from him. If you want to arrive at the best decision from a group of people and you want them to be able to take ownership of that process, you do what we call syndicate group reasoning. So they sit down together, you throw the idea to them, they own it, they bash it right and left. At the end of the day, they come out with what is best applicable to each and everybody. Not everybody may agree, but guess what? Everybody owns it. And
That's
I
right.
realized that those are the ideas that people run with. Those are the ones that they give everything that they have to be able to implement. Those are the ones that they deliver on the most. I've looked at my career, I've looked at years, and I said, look, this is what happens the most. And I am just so happy that you've been able to throw a lot of light on that, because people, it was Feladrote that said that if people are many organizations say people are our greatest assets, but when any organization goes into crisis, the first set of assets that they dispose of
Other
are
people.
people.
Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
the people. And so if you have made, if you are people centric, personnel centric in the organizations that you've been in and the organizations that you're leading, little wonder that they're functioning at 10 star performance levels. Little,
Yep.
little wonder. Little wonder. I think this should just be like a blueprint for other organizations to be able to tap to and to be able to learn from. And I think that's amazing, Eunice. I think that's amazing. So now let's talk to. I like the fact that, and if you notice, I've been following a trend. We talked about organization, we talked about business. Now we want to spend some time talking about performance as relating to Eunice Show Me Adeyemi. So what exactly
Whew.
makes you tick, Eunice? This is the last hub for today's drive. What makes you tick, and what are the things that just enable you as a person to be able to perform? Each and every person, and I'll tell you why I'm asking this question the way that I am. Everybody has something that they're wired to do. You have to be able to understand how you're wired for you to deliver on what you're wired to do. When you don't understand how you're wired, you will struggle to deliver on how you're wired to do. So, what is it about Eunice that makes you do the things that you do?
So how I'm wired. So when I was listening to you ask the question, I was like, okay, so how am I going to answer this question? But I'll take it from how I'm wired. So I'm wired to serve, and my husband will say it. Everybody who knows me closer enough will know I'm wired to serve. And it's funny because you would think that with all the different roles that I've had, that okay, now I should reach this height where I don't have to serve anymore. But I find that that's what makes me happy. That's I'm in my
Mm,
happiest state when I'm actually serving. So this for me is like a service. It's a service to you. So I'm happy doing this. I'm happy to adjust and say, okay, you know what, not a problem. This will happen, right? I'm happy to be on a phone call for hours trying to help somebody manage a situation. I'm happy to serve my clients, right? I literally I'm happy to do what needs to be done in order to make you happy, and that's me. So I'm wired to serve, and because I'm wired to serve, you find that executing is easy because all I'm doing is I'm looking to serve, right? I'm
mm,
looking to be out there and I'm looking to say, okay, how can I add value to whatever situation I'm in, whichever company I'm in, right? Whichever company I was in the past, I wanted to be able to serve and serve well. I wanted to leave with a mark. I wanted to leave making sure that I had an impact there. Then when I started Q21 Solutions, how do I then serve my staff to make sure that indeed they are happy, but then also serve my clients and then
mm,
serve the industry at large, right? Because the truth is that we're here as an example, and I'm glad you touched on it before. The truth is, when people look at the event space, they think of us as wedding decorators, and they think of us as decorators. That's really what they think of us as. When you say you're an event planner, they say that you're a decorator. So you come and you ask for decorations. And I always try and tell people, no, I don't decorate, and I don't do weddings, and I don't do birthday parties. And people always think that, okay, yeah, you're strange, because that's where the money is. I mean, hey, weddings, birthday parties, and now funerals, unfortunately, are like the biggest things. That's where you will make money. But I didn't find that we could serve in that area.
mm.
One, because there are people, as far as I'm concerned, that serve really well in that area.
Yeah.
We could serve in an area where corporates needed it. So from a branding standpoint, we could look at you and we could help you to become better as an organization and bring your product to life. Not bring it to life alone, but tell a story around it and get customers to
Right.
engage with it and get customers to want to. I mean, we have alcohol beverages that are our clients. So Pernod Ricard is one of our clients, Nigerian Breweries is one of our clients, Bacardi is one of our clients. And when they talk about doing events, they talk about it from the perspective of, okay, let's just have an event, let's have an activation. conversation. And we're always like, no, we need to get people to understand what it is that they're drinking. Let them understand that actual product that they're consuming. Can they
Mm.
connect with that product? And it's not just any and everybody drinking your products. No, I don't want anybody everybody drinking my product. I want people who I've designed the product for to actually be
Four.
consuming that particular product. How do I reach that target audience? And that's in understanding how do we serve you better, right? So what is it that you're looking for as a consumer? What is it that you want from, when we were in MTN? So what is it that you want from a postpaid line? What type of experience would you like to have, right? How can we serve you better?
Experience. Mm.
So once I can understand how to serve you better, I can create an experience around it for you. The moment we understand that, and I think that's so because I'm wired to serve, it makes things so much easier because I can just look at you and say, okay, you know what? How can I serve you? So if you are close enough to me and you are a friend, you are somebody that I consider a friend and a loved one, there are very few of them, but if you are considered a friend, then trust me, I am there to serve you. And in serving you, I know that you're not taking advantage of the relationship, but if you pick up the phone and you're going to call me, I'm going to jump and I'm going to do whatever you need, right? And in business, it's similar. Clients have had to understand, yes, I do not work weekends. Um, and they have understood that, right? And even when I was working in the bank, it was so hilarious when you said that, TOE interviewed everybody and he interviewed and he said, what's the one thing that would drive you crazy if you worked for me? And I said, I will work 8 to 8 and that's it. My family comes first. So
Mm.
after 8, you can't reach me. You're not going to be able to reach me, but by 8 a.m., so 8 p.m., after 8 p.m. you can't reach me. I don't read emails, I don't check phones, I don't do anything after 8 p.m., but 8 a.m. I'll be available to you for those 12 hours. I am dedicated to you wholeheartedly. And he got the best out of me because he understood that, but I set those terms quite early. When I then started Q21 Solutions, it's like, listen, by 8 p.m. clients can't reach me. Like, you just can't. And on weekends,
Mm.
unless it's an event, you can't reach me because I'd like to spend time with my family. My kids were important. My husband's important. I wanted to spend that quality time, and I wanted to then serve them, right? Because they also require that bit of me that is needs to be available. So if you asked me, what is it that makes me tick? It is service, in a nutshell.
Service. Wow. 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 Service all the way. And and that speaks to that. I like the fact that um I'm looking at the comments as they're coming up. And everybody's like service, service, service. Someone says here, wired to serve is a shared stance here, Eunice. Glad to know that we're many out there. Way to go, way to go, way to go, way to go. And I like the beat about boundaries that you mentioned. I think it's important that people are able to set boundaries. But then again, I'm always quick to tell people that a lot of people don't have enough confidence to be able to set boundaries. Everybody has boundaries. A lot of people just don't have confidence to set boundaries. And I say to people, yeah, but that's the truth. That's the truth. I mean, everybody has what works for them, but not everybody is able to communicate what works for them. And I say to people that many times that one of the things that's recognized in the workplace or in the marketplace or in the business setting is you having differentiating competencies, and it's like a trade. It's transactional, really. And if you're able to leverage on your competencies, then you can get a leeway for certain things. Now, that's also because you also have a lot of organizations, and I have no apologies for saying this, a lot of organizations that do not have strong HR policies, that protect personnel and allow personnel to be able to have genuine work-life balance. In other words, I mean, any HR policy that supports work-life balance will respect boundaries. But a lot of organizations just have a work-life balance on paper as something that they treat for 1 hour at the annual retreat once a year, and they talk about it and take pictures and post it on their Instagram pages, and then they go home and then they call you at 9:30 and say, "Where is that report that should have come in by so time?" So I'm also really happy that you've been able to, stay that. And I hope that somebody is encouraged as well. Just do not be afraid to try to set boundaries. They will protect you as long as you know that this will. So the challenge when I spoke of people not being confident enough to set boundaries is it's tied to competence. All right. It's tied to competence, and it's tied to um what you're able to do. So imagine saying that, hey, you can't reach me after 8. And then between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m., you're not doing anything that adds value. I
I
will
was going to
call
tell
you
you
at
that.
10. I will call you at 12 midnight, because the
Yep.
time that you the time that you allocated and you promised me, and we came into an agreement,
Mm-hmm.
employer employee, organizational, or partner, because that's really what it is. Support system and support, that's what
Yeah.
it is, right? By the time we came in, you said that from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., or whatever time it is, that you will be committed to ensuring that if a task was not accomplished, it was because it could not be accomplished.
That's right.
And I hope everybody gets that. If a task was not accomplished, it was because it could not be accomplished, not because I did not give my best. Meaning that we gave our best and still it could not be accomplished. So when you're able to come to the table with that kind of mindset and that kind of orientation, then you will be able to say, please, I do not take email, I do not read emails after a certain time, and I don't take phone calls after a certain time. And I think, I just wanted to put that out there. It's important. Deliver on the things you're meant to deliver on, and then make demands on the things that you're meant to make demands on.
Yep.
Amazing. That's true. That's true. Eunice, it's been we've done 55 minutes so far. We have 5 minutes to go. Yeah, I mean, it looked like we've had this conversation for just 10 minutes here, but it's amazing. This is everything and more that I thought it will be. Everything and more. So I'm going to come to you now with. I usually have this thing I do at the end of most episodes. All right. So we're going to jump. We're just going to do some quick questions, and this is how we'll go. I'm going to call something, I'm going to say something, and you tell me the first thing that comes to mind. Now, you just open the eyes. All right. So
Oh,
I'm going to say something. Now, don't worry. I'm not even starting with performance, because you've already said excellence comes to mind when you say um, performance. So here's what here I'm going to look for some things. No, don't worry. Three
okay.
things. I'm going to look for three things, and then you say what comes to mind as soon as I say that.
Okay.
Productivity,
Detail.
detail, productivity, documentation,
Neat.
policies.
Organized. Like,
Ama-
like,
Amazing, amazing. Okay. So I said documentation. I said policies. I said organized. I said documentation. What was your response for documentation?
neat. Neat.
Nate, and then productivity.
Detail.
Detailed.
Mm.
Amazing responses. Amazing responses.
Mm.
Eunice, your final thoughts on performance before we call it a night.
So my final thoughts. Thank you so much, Anyakan, for having me on. I thoroughly enjoyed myself, and I hope that everybody else who was on enjoyed themselves. But my final thoughts is, performance needs to come from the heart, and that's just I believe that if you are in any area, in any business that you're in any job that you're on, I think if you're performing, remembering that if you're doing it from a standpoint that says, I'm doing this because this is what I was called to do at this time. It changes at different stages of life. It changes. So at different stages of life, you are in one area. I mean, you were in the banking hall at one point. And I was in a call center at some point in my lifetime, right? It changes from time to time. But wherever you are and wherever you find yourself, remember that you are only serving in that space at that moment, and people will look at and remember you based on what you deliver at that time. So remember to deliver excellence always, whenever, and whatever time, and whatever opportunity you're given. That's my final words.
Amazing,
I've had
amazing.
a blast.
Eunice does this in the way that only she can. And thank you so much for coming. So here's what we do before we go. We have a minute left. We're just going to look through some of the comments that people posted in the course of the show. So we just have a feel of the things that they got from us. All right. So I'm going to take it not in any particular order. I'll take them as I scroll over them. All right. So we have from Adeyemi Adebola Atipa. Thank you very much, Dr. Triple A. It says performance needs to come from the heart.
Yeah.
Wow. 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 All right. We have Mfon H. Udofia says, remember to deliver excellence always.
Yeah.
Quote, but words of marble by Eunice. Words of marble by Eunice. All right, so we're gonna go further up. Um, Sheba shares, hello Sheba. Sheba is a third musketeer
Yes.
on Clubhouse. Sheba says, thank you for the great conversation, Aneka and Eunice. You two are amazing. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Sheba. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's see who else there. Usain James says, on boundaries, deliver on the things you're meant to deliver, and then make demands on the things you want. AU. Thank you so
That's right.
much. Usain, you were paying attention. Yes, you were paying attention. Okay, so we have yet another comment from AAA. It says, thanks, Eunice. You rock. Uh-huh. Red hair rocks. You rock. I cut some major things from you. Such an amiable soul that you are.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Amazing. 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 Fantastic session so far. That be true. No truer words have ever been spoken. Okay. We have true that the lack of confidence to set boundaries is a different kind of
Kind of
pandemic.
pandemic.
Okay. So I will speak on this much later. All right. So let's look at a couple more. Okay, I've taken some of these comments already. Um, Okay, so this says valuing your staff creates a bond, and it's a bond
True.
that delivers result for you. So it's not just a bond for the sake of let's just come together.
Mm-mm.
It has an output. There's an objective
Correct.
to it. It
Yeah.
delivers, and that's leadership. And because I mean, Eunice, when you think about it, the primary principle of leadership is influence, and
Hmm.
is influencing people to be able to bring their best to pursue a common cause.
Correct.
And if you value them, then they will value the cause.
That's right.
And like I say many times, when you appreciate them, they will appreciate their contribution. In other words, they will grow their contribution to what it is that you're doing, and altogether, the overarching objective will be achieved. So I think it was just very, very, very awesome, that was laid out. So many other things. Let me just take. Okay, so we'll do this. 10-star performance coined by Eunice.
Yeah.
Amazing, 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 amazing. And I think I'll just wrap up here. It says to improve business performance, choose collaboration
Over
over
competition.
competition.
Yeah.
Choose collaboration over competition. Or maybe let me just do two more. Two more. Planning effectively and having a good relationship with vendors and colleagues goes a very long way. Absolutely
Yeah.
true. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. And finally, communicate the vision clearly. Let your staff buy
Right.
the experience first. Communication,
Definitely.
communicate the vision clearly. Let your staff buy the experience first. While talking of experience, this has been an amazing experience. It's been interesting spending 1 hour, 2 minutes thus far with Eunice showing me Adeyemi. Thank you so much, Eunice, for coming through. Thank you for sharing your time, your
Oh,
heart, and for sharing your experience with us on the
welcome.
Connect. I'm truly, truly blessed to have you, and we look forward to being able to connect on different levels on different projects as the Lord will have us do. So, thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
Nathan.
and see you on the clubhouse tomorrow.
Definitely. Have a good
All
night.
right, everybody. Good night. Catch you next Sunday.
Thanks.
Until then, let's keep on connected. Good night, everyone.